Hi all, I thought we should look at another trap, especially since I seem to be having a correspondence game on chessworld.net where someone had fallen into a Budapest trap. If I just quickly show you that game, I played the knight e4 variation in the Budapest, which is an okay alternative to knight g4, and it's sort of not giving white the clue to play bishop f4, and I think he played knight f3, and off the d6 took, and now he didn't play the howler g3, but instead he's played a3, and I think, unless I'm terribly mistaken, which I'll be really embarrassed, that knight f2 is still strong, so that's what I've played. So I think I'm winning his queen after takes and bishop g3 again. If he does try queen a4, then he's like losing the rook, I think. Bishop d7, there's another check. Okay, so on the subject of the Budapest though, apparently this trap, which is named after the German international master George Kieninger, used it in an offhand game against Godai, Godai at Vienna in 1925, and it's actually one of the most frequently seen opening traps, but it goes with the knight g4 move, not knight e4, and one of white's most popular responses is now bishop f4. So you see this sort of discourages playing d6 here, so instead you want to try and win that e5 pawn. So a logical move here to increase the pressure on the e5 pawn is to play knight c6. So white has some issues with this. If he doesn't want to, he's going to end up losing that pawn. So knight f3. Now black throws in a check, quite a disruptive, annoying check. So knight bd2, and now queen e7. So everything's ganging up. Well, these three guys are ganging up on this poor pawn. Okay, so white's now, like in the correspondence game I'm currently playing, has plays the move a3. Now instead of, say, bishop takes d2, you can do a sneaky little move order here. You can get away with it. You can temporarily leave your bishop en prise with a move like knight g takes e5. So using this knight to come back. If the opponent snaps up your bishop, I hope you can see the winning move here if I give you 5 seconds starting from now. Okay, knight d3, and it's checkmate. So it's a nice smothered mate with the knight. So let's just quickly review that to try and get it into your memory. So in the Budapest Gambit, which is this e5 after knight f6, so you're going to get this pesky knight, so you can have two trapping alternatives now in your repertoire, either with knight e4, which we've demonstrated in a previous video, and which I've sort of mentioned again in this video, or this knight g4. So you're provoking bishop f4 though. So the idea of this bishop is not to support d6, but to play a disruptive check very soon. First, you intensify the pressure on e5. So white defends. Now you play the disruptive check, and it also means when you play queen e7, you haven't hemmed in that bishop on c8. It's out. It's ready to take on d2. So white plays a3, and now you take with a g knight. So this is the trap with knight d3. Now let's assume white actually plays a safety move like e3 to defend that d3 square with the bishop. You end up with not a terrible position. I probably wouldn't recommend to you bishop c5 here, because b4, and you're falling in fact your bishop's actually getting trapped actually. For example, bishop b6 c5, so that wouldn't be a good idea at all. Bishop d6 against c5 actually might not be as effective here, because then you've got knight takes f3 and bishop f4 winning a piece. So this would be terrible for white, losing a piece like this. So okay, but the bishop looks incredibly awkward here on c5. So in fact, I think the best move is just bishop takes d2, and you hand white a small advantage. In fact, in this position, you could take on f3, maybe, and play knight e5 again, and d6, and you're probably not much worse. In fact, one of the key ideas of the Budapest I had a book years ago, and I was reading about it because one of the juniors I faced was playing it a lot, and I think A5 is one of the ideas, because your third rank, rather peculiar to the Budapest, is clear in this opening. So actually there's a switching move you can often employ. This rook A6 coming out to the king side later is something to bear in mind if you want to try and play the resulting positions and set up the Budapest as part of your opening repertoire with black. Then you need, to understand what will go on if the opponent doesn't fall in line with these traps that you're going to set in this defense. So here, anyway, the idea is to try and get white to protect E5, throw in the bishop B4 check, and then the unsuspecting white opponent, probably very good for blitz chess in particular. So really, maybe I should give this a punt to casually play knight. I think I prefer knight G E5, so they can avoid the trap with E3 or fall right into it, and you've got your checkmate. You've got your quick knockout in 8 moves with the black pieces. So it's maybe something to try for blitz chess in particular. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.